If you don't think that it's a good thing for you to do, why would you think it's a good thing for someone else to do? Like, I don't.
Okay, so let me explain this one for you, Bass, very quickly. Other people are not me. For instance, if let's say that I was an ace person, and my method of going out and dating would be strictly to find somebody who also did not want to engage sexually, or at least did not have the libido that I would be going for. Like that's my goal. But if I'm talking to a friend of mine who's just, run of the mill, no issues, no differences, like they're just your standard stereotypical guy or gal. This person who is not ace, there's a different set of engagements that are going to be good for them that are good for me. Because I might be seeking strictly somebody to talk to, somebody to hang out with, but they might necessarily want to go find somebody to sleep with. If that's their goal and they're a different person than me, then they would operate under different roles than me. That's normal, because people are different.
Yeah.
I don't like this liberal. I hate when liberals do that. I would not do it. But if you want to do it, then do it. No, why would you not want to do it?
I want to eat chicken tendies, but if you are a vegan, you would not want to eat chicken tendies, so you operate under a different set of rules than me.
No, I just want chicken.
Well, I can't help you there because I can't do anything about it as well. Also, thank you very much, Canna, for the subscription. I managed to find that. I managed to see that one, even though everything's turned off because a bunch of bots ruined it for everybody.
That if you don't want to do it, that means you recognize there's some issue here. You would have to because you don't want to do it, right?
What? Just because someone has a personal preference not to do something doesn't mean they find it inherently bad, right?
I do not like the
what?
taste. I do not personally like the taste of kale. So, Hannah, in this hypothetical, you like the taste of kale, and you're about to have a kale smoothie. I'm about to argue with you for the next hour and a half of my and your life about the merits of not eating kale and how kale is a disgusting vegetable and you should not put it anywhere near your mouth because it is the worst thing in the entire world. And how dare you eat that kale smoothie? Why would you eat a smoothie? Drink that kale smoothie in front of me because I personally am offended by the existence of kale.
I've had less productive conversations than this hypothetical one.
That is very sad, and yeah. I think this is another argument in the bin of the internet was a mistake.
So, if you think it's not okay for you to do it, why would it be okay for someone else to do it? Now, perhaps you have some type of argument, or I would like to hear it, but you're not going to extrapolate. I already watched this part of the video.
Well, then watch this video, Bass. We just did it. People are different.
He will. He anger watches when I cover him sometimes, so he'll probably see this.
That's beautiful. Hi, Bass. How are you doing?
I just don't like that. I hate when people say that. I wouldn't do it, but it's okay if you... No, nigga. If I wouldn't do it, you probably shouldn't do it either. Perhaps it might be an arrogant disposition to take, but again, if I'm trying to self-preservate myself, or if I'm trying to do what I think is right, it doesn't make sense that I would try to allow someone to go down the wrong path, especially if I care about them to some degree. Just what I'm trying to communicate to you guys.
I like ham and you don't like ham. You like turkey and I don't like turkey. I will eat a ham sandwich, but that would not be good for you, so I will instead hand you a turkey sandwich. That is all the effort that it took. That is literally all the effort that it took to show that your argument's full of shit.
Do you think it's going to hurt his feelings that an anime character is criticizing him? I feel like that's a stress stream he's probably had pretty often.
Well, I know that Rimixen, who works on my model, is currently building me feet, so I know the internet has a weird thing with that.
Show feet!
We literally...
Honestly, I learned today that you don't have the lower half of your arms and hands, and it freaks me out knowing that I'm talking to just a torso.
I am torso man with boobs. There's so on that though, I will have hands in the finished version. I just won't be able to use them. I will effectively be a paraplegic VTuber, which realistically, like most of us who operate as 2D don't have functional hands, so I guess all of us are. There's actually...
my human model here actually has hands, and it's very nice. I'm actually a lizard person. I don't know if you know this. I'm secretly a VTuber, so this human model's pretty good.
There's actually a meme in my community where instead of talking about videos as topics, we call them topics, and I don't remember when that began, and I don't want to discover when that began, and I'm kind of horrified about it, but it's still a thing.
But granted, there are kinds of people out there that are into that type of thing. Good for them. Who cares?
But
you chose to keep this in here.
Boys, liberals.
Did you wait? Hold on. I think I know what that tick comes from. I think he's channeling the avatar of Sargon of Akkad.
He has referenced Sargon before, so you might be onto something.
Because I just heard Sargon's voice there. This is why I despise modern-day liberals. I am a classical liberal, and that means that I have a much, much larger nether region than all of you. That's all I heard.
At least one of the reasons why.
Who cares? Where I think she's wrong is by saying that if you notice someone's physical beauty, you will just be unable to get past that and notice any kind of personality that's there. Like, it's just, you can't see it. You can't have a conversation without just being like, boobs.
Well, let's actually argue in good faith. That's not really, that's actually just not what she said.
It's basically what she said. She
point...
basically said that people are going to look at you and not take you seriously because they find you too attractive.
Like, her whole point was you don't want a guy to be attracted to your physicality first, so they're distracted by that and not the things you're saying. That was her point. Yep. Jacqueline reiterated that point, albeit Jacqueline's point was, I will at least grant this, was a more exaggerated version of that point, but it was still that point. And just, why is every freeze frame of this person make him look like he requires a fedora?
I've said this before, and I will say it again. If this guy, he's I think before, like, been very down on himself about how he looks, and he's like, well, I don't think anyone will find me attractive, and it's like, the guy's fine. He just needs to, like, learn to groom, like trim the beard a little bit, maybe the hair, but he always wears the same kind of grungy t-shirts. He'd be fine. But he decides to go with this look that makes him look a little bit like he should be wearing a fedora. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I know that I'm not that attractive, but that's why I hide behind a cartoon. Know your strengths.
You got an avatar that's 45% boobs, so.
And they bounce when I do this. I can make it worse. I can do the yandere face and do it, and now it will be burned into everyone's retinas.
Yeah, I couldn't afford to get a cartoon made, so I just got hormones and actually grew boobs, so that worked out.
Alright, Bass, make me suffer more. I need the brain hemorrhaging that is currently your channel.
Just saying that the person would be focusing on it. Now, I mean, the video is kind of so cut and dry, that type of nuance can be inferred, or at the very least that type of nuance can be added later, but she didn't say that it's impossible. She's just like, that person probably will be more focused on your physicality than they will your personality.
Did you just agree with Jacqueline again on accident? That's okay.
And she's not wrong.
Also realize, is that a sponge in your hand?
Oh no, this is a trans rights brick that someone 3D printed me. The coloring's a little off because of the lighting in here, but it's like a trans flag colored brick.
I feel like, is that soup for my family?
Is it what?
Is that soup for my family?
Soup for... Oh my god, I get it. Okay. It's for my family. Wink. I remember that.
It's soup for my family. I have new filament coming in for my 3D printer. I'm so upset that my last thing that I printed came out not the way I intended. Oh, I'm not going to talk about 3D printing right now.
Just real quick, my friend Randy has one of those the printers that are resin based and not filament based.
Yes,
and it's amazing.
Actually, quick plug type thing. Raz is my partner. My audience knows this, but I'm on your channel as well, so blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So Raz is actually going to be doing some resin stuff as well, and we might, maybe, if I can learn Blender and learn 3D modeling well, we might actually be able to print like figures of my avatar for like merch sales and stuff like that, which I've never done, but I got the 3D printer and she is getting the resin printer, and we are going to be learning the two sides of printing as we go. That's going to be fun.
Very, very cool. I have a 3D printer in my house, but it's not hooked up right now because I was just too lazy to figure it out. And I tried some stuff, but I just get frustrated really easily. Like I did these minis. Hold on. And honestly, my printer does not have the resolution to be printing stuff this small. So I ended up with like this mini that's like, I kept it because I want to use it for like a goo monster or something that like is in the shape of a person, but it just has those, stringies, and it completely screwed up on the arms and stuff.
So for those stringies, there's actually I just had stomach acid come up. That's unfortunate. Those stringies come out no matter how good your printer is. But what you do is there's actual 3D printing filers where you're supposed to basically shave them off with the filer.
Yeah, I have them, but like this one actually came out the best of the other ones. Some of them like completely fell apart, where like the arms are like all that.
They're all everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody who is familiar with my channel knows. I mentioned Channel Pup earlier, who's doing the Sunset City podcast with me. Him and Game Apologist. Channel Pup uses a 3D avatar for his stuff, and he's been sending me versions of the avatar to 3D print. So I actually have a 3-inch model of his character that I've been detailing like right next to me as we speak, that I've been trying to get printed better and better as I'm learning the printer.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm hoping eventually to make something that looks close enough to where it could be painted and be reasonable. I don't know if I'm there yet. All right, Bass, I want my eyes to bleed. Make it happen.
It's just not going into the nitty-gritty of the nuances.
It's just like an overly simplistic black and white way of thinking of things. Like, yeah, you might notice that you're attracted to someone, great. But I've had that happen to me before, where I notice that someone's attractive, and then they open their mouth, and I'm like, oh. And I wonder how I felt that way to begin with.
I bet that nigga said something positive about Trump. Wait, no. He probably said that he went to church. It's probably what that one was.
Always one or the other.
I'm guessing you don't want to attract.
So I'm just going to go and say this right now. If somebody says something positive about Trump, and it's not something with like the nuance and the beginning of saying, okay, so Trump is bad, but there's this one thing he did that was okay. Like,
sure.
If somebody says something positive about Trump, my first thing is going to be, oh, you're either completely politically misaligned with me, and our relationship, our potential hypothetical one, is going to be suffering, or you're politically inept, which can be fixed, but requires a lot of time and more suffering. And it is either that they are a default conservative because that's what their parents were and they just don't know any better, or they know better and they're just an asshole.
Yeah.
And
he basically just said, I bet if he said insert dumb / potentially problematic thing here, then all of a sudden you're not attracted to him. Yeah, because those things aren't attractive.
There was a guy in my WoW guild who would always say like great things about Trump, and the guild was mostly liberal, so everybody just kind of went, uh-huh, sure.
I read or listened to, have you ever listened to Crit Crab on YouTube? They do D&D stories. I don't know if you're into D&D at all.
So I play D&D, but I'm not super into the community or like current 5th edition lore and stuff like that, but I do play.
So I was listening to this video on Crit Crab, which is a great YouTube channel that tells them using D&D stories, and one of them was a DM that was very right-wing. The players were not, and he basically tried to put them through a session where the characters were sort of reenacting the Capitol insurrection attempt from the January 6th with their characters, and they all refused and left the game.
I see what you're doing here. Did they do this whole like, oh, the true king is being deposed and a substitute's being there, and it's like, okay, but we've all got like 50 gold in our sacks, so why the fuck do we care about the monarchy?
Yes, it was exactly that.
Oh
and
my
they all
God.
cringed and left.
Lord of the
I don't
Rings.
get it.
Lord of the Rings, January 6th edition. We threw the ring in a lake and said, I don't give a shit if fucking Sauron takes it, whatever. I don't care.
The Great Orange King has been deposed, and now Dementus Maximus has been put on the throne, and we can't have that.
He's on the throne. He hasn't done anything terrible yet, but we know he's biding his time. I'm sorry if this is a realm where you get executed for puns, but it's fine.
No, the puns are fantastic. More puns.
Attract the kind of man who is
Sorry, only classically, Abby.
only looking to spend one night with you.
I mean, that's an important question that a woman needs to ask herself.
That a person needs to ask themselves. This isn't a gendered issue.
No. If you want to have a one-night stand, great. If not, then move on. It's fine. Who cares?
Is this what I really want? I don't think it's wrong for Abby to ask that of ladies to think. But I guess Jackie does, so go ahead, Jackie, tell us why.
Okay,
why
but
is
here's the
Abby...
problem. It's not that she's asking actually hypothetically just to make you think. Because it'd be one thing, because it's good for anyone to be like, okay, what are the intentions of me and this other person or other people in this encounter? Is it just about the sex? Is it about a relationship? Is it about some sort of friends with benefits thing? Whatever it happens to be. That's a good thing to consider. But that's not what Abby's doing. She wants people to come to the conclusion that you should never have sex outside of marriage or some sort of committed long-term relationship. And if you do, you should feel like a dirty slut. Like, that's her intention. It's not just that she's, like, begging the question and being like, well, she is begging the question, but not, you know what I mean? She's not actually just asking people to ask. She wants people to come to the same conclusion that she has, which is a conservative trad wife view on sexual relationships.
There's I can't remember what it was, but like there was a philosophy course that was available on YouTube, and it was in about 20 parts because it was actually like every lecture this person was giving on it. And one of the things that he mentioned was at one point during the class, this is like in his introductory part, he said eventually he would talk about the existence of God, whether or not he existed. And the thing he said to his class is something that I think more people should probably do. He said, I have one opinion on this subject. I would like it, and I would like it if more people came to the same conclusion I did. But my job is not to make you come to my conclusion. My job is to give you the tools to make your own conclusion. It's literally what he said as the billing for his course.
But God's Not Dead led me to believe that the professor was going to force me to say God doesn't exist on the first day of class, and he's going to look like Hercules.
Disappointing! No, yeah, no, the portrayal that Kevin Sorbo did for the professor in God's Not Dead does not mimic. Granted, as somebody who has not gone to college, but as somebody who has watched college lectures, because I got my ass kicked one time on a server in political discourse and said that's not happening again. I have not seen a teacher take that particular route that Kevin Sorbo's character did in that movie. It literally was, no, my opinions are this. Those are for a completely different class. I am not here to try to lead you to them. I am here to give you tools. That's my job.
Now, when I was in college, I didn't have any teachers that forced it. It was about discussion, at least when it's in, especially like a humanities type class or like a, history or literature, and you're talking about things that don't have a definitive answer. It's about the discussion. It's about making you think. Yeah. Only in like STEM fields do you need to be like, hey, no, this is how you do the math. This is the math. Yeah, I wasn't very good at math, as you can tell from my description of how math works.
Neither was I. It was actually geometry was the one class I ever failed in high school. But it's very weird to me whenever stuff like that happens. Whenever there's a movie that's like, this is what it's like on the liberal campuses. Like, but it's not. It's literally not. This is people who got burned on the creationism argument and then just stayed on that forever.
Yeah.
Star Strike Prime is also redeemed. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa. And they literally said suffer with it. So at least you know what you're doing.
Ooh, woo.
All right, so it's war then.
Wrong here.
Girl, let me tell you what. First of all, before I get into my little rant, there are plenty of people, like I said earlier, that are into that kind of thing, and we do not need to be judgmental. To each their own. You do you, boo. It's fine.
Except you actually do not think that that be the case. You just don't want to hurt people's feelings.
But wait, but she just said that. Did you just put words in her mouth? Okay.
You just want to live in this happy-go-lucky world where everyone can just do whatever they want and feel however they feel. Except, you know, this is going to become really ironic in just a second. So I'm going to put a pin on this one, and we're going to come back to it in just a second.
I'm so excited.
But I will say, I've heard of friends going through things. I've had experiences myself where you meet somebody and they just seem to care so much about everything about you, like where you grew up, who your family is, what you do for a living, things that make you you, your quirks, what's important to you, your love language. And then you find out that that's really not what they were interested in, and they were actually using that to get into bed with you.
Well, what's the alternative?
Oh, yikes.
Wait.
Yikerinos.
Wait. Has this man... Okay, I mentioned earlier that years ago I did swinging. It's how I found out I was demi, because I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm actually not attracted to any of these people who are here exclusively for the purpose of fucking. I literally have nothing I want to do with these people. Why am I here? But, so... there are alternatives. Be upfront with somebody. Go, hey, I find you attractive, and I would like to know these things about you, but I would like to sleep with you.
Like, there are entire apps at this point that the entire purpose is to just hook up with people. Like, you don't need to lie to people about your intentions in order to sleep with them. That's really, really gross. Don't do that.
Like, you can, like, it literally, well, what's the alternative to lying to people? I don't know. Honesty? Just, seriously, go on Tinder and just go, hey, we both know why we're here. Do you want to hook up? And if somebody says no to that, and you go, well, then I should have, if somebody says no to that and you get upset at that and you say, well, I should have used the other route, your argument is, I failed to entice this person sexually. I should have manipulated them instead.
It also strikes me that I wonder if Bass, also in this statement of what else could you do, does he recognize that you could also genuinely maybe be interested in people's lives and personalities and stuff? Does he think everyone in any sort of relationship, that a man, if they're interested in what a woman has to say about herself, does he assume that that is always a lie? Does he assume that every other man sees women as only sexual objects like he does, and therefore has no interest in their lives or inner worlds?
Like, just... I also noticed somebody in your chat just went, I go to swing parties for the free food. See, at this one, everybody had to bring their own alcohol, so it wasn't really free. I mean, you paid for the bottle of alcohol. Does that count?
I don't know.
It's like the MGTOW version of Nephilim free. Oh god, no. Don't bring up Nephi. That
Who's
is
Nephilim free?
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Oh dear. Okay. So Nephilim free is a creationist. He believes that he has the... What's the best way to put this? He believes wholeheartedly that all of science ever has gotten everything wrong at all times. The Bible actually has the real answers to everything. I want you to imagine Kent Hovind as a basement dweller and an internet troll, and you have Nephilim free.
Nephilim free. I gotta add this person to my bookmarks. Hold on. Oh boy, he does a lot of long streams. Jesus, 6 hours, 4.5 hours. Okay.
I have done
Saved.
a 8-way debate where like it was a bunch of atheists on one side and theists on the other side, and he was one of the theists on the other side, and I was just like, "Yep, this has sold me on it. I am not talking to this asshole ever again." It's basically a creationist cryptid. And Keto Benai has redeemed. Oh whoa! I secretly hate you. Oh whoa!
Ooh woo.
Okay, I'm not here to say that I need your coordinates for carpet bomb related reasons. But those are war words. Those are war words. Sir Isaac has said that I need to tell you that Nephilim Free is the stupider version of G-Man.
That's impossible. That's impossible. G-Man is the stupid version of G-Man.
Okay, Bass.
I've talked with G-Man, okay? The bar is at the floor. This guy would have to take a jackhammer and start chipping away at the sub-basement in order to qualify for that.
Well, that's where he lives, so, you know.
I don't ask that question facetiously. I mean, with all sincerity, Jacqueline, what are they supposed to do?
Not lie to people? It's not hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be, but we're not.
Their only option is to appeal to you to some degree. That's what they have to do. You're the one that decided to have sex with them, or your friends decided to sleep with them.
Wait, what? Where was that said? Also, there are relationships that begin with sex and then end up being 10-year-long relationships that are wholly fulfilling between the two people because they wanted to have sex and also really liked the person. That happens.
I've seen people talk about meeting their partners on Tinder and stuff. That can happen.
Oh, yeah. It's... Again, I feel like this person has never actually, like, conversed with a woman. He just knows that they exist through the internet.
Yeah. He gets his entire view on women from other, like, MGTOW red pill channels.
Oh no, he only pretended to like me. Well, you still did the one-night stand. You were still there. You still could have waited X amount of months to verify he really felt that way.
How would you verify that? How?
He would just continue to lie. Why would you assume he's going to get truthful at some point? Like, what? Or, how about this? We expect people not to lie about their intentions in regard to sexual relationships, because that's super gross. This guy, yes, by the way, for those who don't know, this guy is a substitute teacher. I feel like that's worth bringing up.
That's kind of scary when you think about it.
He has authority over young people.
He wasn't using those different things. That's just the nature of how you convince people to be with you. You either just be super hot Chad or Tyrone and you just slide in them guts.
That's just incel language.
Yep.
That's literally the whole ideology. The thing I memed earlier about the Giga Chad with multiple square jaws, that's actually a fucking ideology.
Yeah. He basically thinks that, and again, I brought this up earlier, like, this guy isn't ugly. If he just took care of himself, he's fine. His problem is he has an awful personality and no respect for women. That's his issue.
And also, I see there's points in the chat where people are saying we can't use that word on Twitch. You can't use that word on... It's the same thing with simp. You cannot use those words on twimps. On twimps?
You can't use them as insults. Yeah. You can use them as when context. You're talking about the actual subject.
Yeah.
I try and avoid it altogether, but yes, it is only as an insult.